Hey Wolfpack. So I haven't played Drain in probably over a year, and I wanted to try it again and see how it feels. And I'm very stubborn and I don't want to check other people's builds before I make my own build, and that's what I did. It went through a lot of changes and quite a lot of testings. Drain is very easily scaled up, but it has pretty hard ceiling for its top damage. And under perfect conditions, which means applied hinder and applied 15 stacks of withers, I do have 150,000 shaper DPS, which I believe is more than most Drain build. However, it is more like a glass cannon. This is Occultist and not a Trickster, so Occultist has more damage than Trickster. However, Trickster would have way better survivability. And also Trickster's damage is heavily dependent on power and frenzy charges, and you can't really maintain them against big bosses like Guardians and Shaper. But like I said, my defensive mechanics are, well, worse than Trickster's, and I would not recommend this build for newer players. Actually, Drain in its current stage is not really good for endgame bosses like Shaper and Guardians. Some of you may not be aware, but Drain no longer scales with projectile damage, so you do have less tools to increase your damage. But if you do not intend to do like the very endgame content and just want to farm maps, it's probably good enough, but like I said, it really is kind of squishy. If you mess up and start getting hit by enemies, you most often die. Even though I have over 6,000 effective life pool, I still die almost instantly because I have zero mitigation. You could use shield charge with Fortify, but I don't think it's a good idea because it is very squishy and you don't really want to shield charge into enemy pack. So for the most part, I'm just playing hit and run. And from the endgame content, I did Hydra with 46% monster life, and I did Phoenix with 25% increased monster damage. I have tried Val Temple, but I got completely destroyed. However, farming tier 15 maps was pretty easy. Also, funny thing, I tried Elder in tier 9 map and I got also completely destroyed, but then again 2 more levels, didn't really think anything else. Then I watched Engineering Eternity video about Elder's fight mechanics, and I attempted Elder again, and it went very smoothly. First attempt, no deaths. So yeah, I guess even for the build feels kind of squishy, you just have to outplay your enemy. And that's why I say that this specific build is not good for newer players. There are different Drain builds that are, I guess, more tanky but will have less damage, but it should still be enough to just clear maps. Oh, and actually Drain is one of the most satisfying skills to use. When you see Drain Contagion just change through enemy packs, it's just so satisfying. So if you never played Drain before, definitely give it a try. This build may be a bit on the expensive side. I am using 6-link armor, but you could use 5-link, but of course you would have less damage, but it would still be enough to just clear maps. As you can see in the clips, I am using GMP, and that means I basically am running like a 5-link damage setup while mapping. So you could definitely do it on a 5-link, you would just have to use single projectile instead of with GMP. And GMP is like a quality of life improvement. Without GMP, it may feel a bit clunky and sometimes kind of annoying if you miss your Drain and have to recast it again. And other than that, I don't really have any too expensive items besides Breath of the Council. Or you could do this build as a Trickster, because passive skill tree is basically the same, and it would allow you to use different kind of armor. But most likely you would have to get more mana from the passive skill tree and maybe frenzy charges. And let's talk more about technical side of this build. I'm not gonna talk everything that I tried because it would just take too much time, so I'm just gonna go quickly over my items, skills, links, passive skill tree, and a couple more things. So before that, you probably remember that I said I'm gonna make a build around this staff, and on the stream I said that I'm gonna build around this staff and not gonna do anything else. So as you can see, I built all my items around this staff, right? All my items are placed around the staff. Now let's get into the build. So I did accidentally 6-link this armor after wasting 5 exalts on fusing 6-linking this staff. Bye bye staff. So I changed all my setup. At first I tried mind over matter with Cloak of Defiance, didn't really like it, but it may actually be even pretty decent. Then tried with Calm's Heart without Mind over Matter, also didn't like. Tried with these gloves, didn't like. So in the end I decided to go with a pretty usual setup, using Breath of the Council and just going Mind over Matter. While leveling, this armor I think is heavily underrated. It is very good, especially for Mind over Matter builds, because on kill you gain life and mana. So since this build doesn't have any leech, almost no regen, well, besides a lot of mana regen, so life gain and mana gain on kill is extremely useful. So all this build is built around this armor basically. The rest items are pretty simple. Breath of the Council because of a lot of chaos damage. AoE also useful, here skill effect duration. Very decent shield with a lot of spell damage, life and resistances. ES doesn't matter on block. Then Atziri's Foible I think is also underrated item, but very useful for Mind over Matter builds. So helmet, nothing too special. I had this Lightning Warp duration helmet from my Lightning Spaghetti build, so I just use that. Gloves, I like using faster. You don't need faster casting support jump, but also it gives global faster casting, which is kind of useful because you sort of need cast speeds or else your build may feel clunky. And also I'm gonna talk about links a bit later. Belt, just to cover resistances, a lot of life. I could upgrade a couple of my jewels, but basically I totally forgot that I no longer use a two-handed weapon. Oh well, it's not a big deal. Yeah, I guess I could improve my damage a bit more. Calm's boots because to avoid getting stunned, and I don't really need movement speed because my Lightning Warp is very fast, as you can see. Rings, nothing too special, just to cover resistances, some life, and that's pretty much all. As for flasks, one instant life flask, then I use granite. I guess I could use basalt. Yeah, I could use basalt. Then Witchfire Brew because it also gives Despair Course, but you need to be kind of close enough to enemies. Now for the links, main setup is Essence Drain, level 20 I'm using. Also quality is kind of important. Then I do have level 3 Empower, but if you don't have 6 link armor, you may just drop Empower and just use other gems like Void Manipulation, Efficacy, Control Destruction and Swift Affliction. But like I said, I do like using GMP because it's just quality of life improvements. You don't really need to aim, you can just blindly just shoot and you know you will hit enemies. You just drop a Contagion, just blindly shoot somewhere and you will hit something. And without GMP you kind of need to be like a sniper, and if the enemy is just running, you drop Contagion, some other enemy just runs in front and you hit that enemy which is not affected by Contagion, then you only kill one enemy, then all the other enemies just surround you and just kill you. So in that case I do use GMP for map clearing. Next, Spell Totem, Wither, faster casting, very usual setup, because if you don't know, Wither increases is damage done, so yeah, you need that. Then I do use cast and damage taken with Enfeeble and Temp Shades, but you could definitely use Blasphemy with Temp Chain. You wouldn't have enough mana. Well, if you wouldn't have enough unreserved mana, but you just have to not get hit. How hard can it be, right? Next, inside my shaped gloves with faster casting, I do use Contagion, increased AoE, Arcane Surge, and Blight. So Blight and Contagion are not damage dealing skills. Blight applies a strong debuff because of 2 Spreading Rot threshold jewels, and Contagion is used to spread Essence Drain from pack to pack. So they kind of need both to have AoE, because I have no AoE scaling on passive skill tree, and also linked with cast speed is also very nice because it makes the build way smoother. You cast faster and you don't have less chances to be killed anyway. So yeah. Oh, and Arcane Surge does increase your damage quite a lot. It basically triggers every cast of Contagion, and well, it doesn't matter for the Blight, but yep, that's about it, right? Let's go into passive skill tree. So like I said, it is Occultist because this gives a lot damage, and it is not conditional, unlike, well, sort of, because you still need to stay close to enemies, but you do get more damage when Trickster. Then I took Profane Bloom. I don't really like those explosions, but enemies, of course, take 10% increased damage, is a big damage multiplier. Also this for additional cores, but you could just grab this one. It's either 3 points or 4 points. At first I had that while I was using that stuff and trying to scale everything with power charges, but later I just picked this because what else is there, and having a bit more ES is also nice. So this is obviously mind over matter, so I do use all my life and unreserved mana for my defenses, and the rest is just get life, get spell damage, get damage over time, chaos damage, a bit of mana, of course, mind over matter, more life along the way, traveling to Shadow, grabbing all the good stuff for damage, and yeah. Wow, there's a big spider on my wall. Never mind. It's not coming my way anyway. So that's all for my passive skill tree. With level 4 in power, you would gain like 30,000 more DPS, but it's really, you can't really make Essence Drain into like that crazy millions of DPS shaper viable, all kind of stuff. So at least I don't know of that kind of scaling. It used to be better when we had scaling with projectile damage. God damn it, it is late. I finished the stream and my head is not working well, but I don't want to do video in the morning because I'm lazy at that time. So yeah, I think that's about all. I really don't want to play this build anymore because while it is very satisfying to see all the enemies just drop dead from the chain Contagion Essence Drain, but bossing is really difficult, and even Abyssal Cracks can be very dangerous. So yeah, for that reason I just want to move on to the next build. I'm not entirely sure. I think I'm gonna do like Spectral Throw with White Wind Dagger. Probably I'm gonna buy a better one because this is not the best roll. So yeah, I'm most likely gonna do Spectral Throw Raider with that. It's not gonna be the best damage, but oh well, people already complain that my builds kind of suck, so who cares. Anyway, thanks for watching and see you soon. Bye bye.